What if your marriage was meant to be a sermon? Today, day 265 of our Bible in a Year, we are starting the book of Hosea, which is a very painful but also very powerful picture of our relationship with God. So, let's dive right in. And we're going to read Hosea 1 through 5 today. So we got 5 chapters. Still going to be about the same time. Should be anyways. But Hosea 1. The word of the Lord came to Hosea, son of Beeri, during the reigns of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, and of Jeroboam, son of Jehoash, king of Israel. When the Lord first spoke to Hosea, he said this to him: Go and marry a woman of promiscuity, and have children of promiscuity. For the land is committing blatant acts of promiscuity by abandoning the Lord. Now, can you imagine, like, this from the get-go seems like it's not a great idea, right? But God is telling him to do this. Verse 3. So he went and married Gomer, daughter of Diblaim, and she conceived and bore him a son. Then the Lord said to him, Name him Jezreel, for in a little while I will bring the bloodshed of Jezreel on the house of Jehu, and put an end to the kingdom of the house of Israel. On that day I will break the bow of Israel in Jezreel valley. She conceived again and gave birth to a daughter, and the Lord said to him, Name her Lo Ruhamah, for I will no longer have compassion on the house of Israel. I will certainly take them away. But I will have compassion on the house of Judah, and I will deliver them by the Lord their God. I will not deliver them by bow, sword, or war, or by horses or cavalry. After Gomer had weaned Lo Ruhamah, she conceived and gave birth to a son. Then the Lord said, Name him Lo Ami, for you are not my people, and I will not be your God. Yet the number of the Israelites will be like the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or counted. And in the place where they were told, You are not my people, they will be called sons of the living God, and the Judeans and the Israelites will be gathered together, and they will appoint for themselves a single ruler, and go up from the land, for the day of Jezreel will be great. Chapter 2. Call your brothers my people, and your sisters compassion. Rebuke your mother, rebuke her, for she is not my wife, and I am not her husband. Let her remove the promiscuous look from her face, and her adultery from between her breasts. Otherwise I will strip her naked and expose her as she was on the day of her birth. I will make her like a desert and like a parched land, and I will let her die of thirst. I realized for a second I forgot to throw out a parental warning on this. So, parental warning before we go any further. This is, he's marrying a promiscuous woman who does not give up those promiscuous ways. So, verse 4. I will have no compassion on her children, because they are the children of promiscuity. Yes, their mother is promiscuous. She conceived them and acted shamefully, for she thought, I will follow my lovers, the men who give me my food and water, my wool and flax, my oil and drink. Therefore, this is what I will do. I will block her way with thorns. I will enclose her with a wall, so that she cannot find her paths. She will pursue her lovers, but not catch them. She will look for them, but not find them. Then she will think, I will go back to my former husband, for then it was better for me than now. She does not recognize that is I who gave her the grain, the new wine, the fresh oil. I lavished silver and gold on her, which they use for Baal. Therefore I will take back my grain in its time, and my new wine in its season. I will take away my wool and linen, which were to cover her nakedness. Now I will expose her shame in the sight of her lovers, and no one will rescue her from my power. I will put an end to all her celebrations, her feasts, new moons, and Sabbaths, all her festivals. I will devastate her vines and fig trees. She thinks that these are her wages, that her lovers have given her. I will turn them into a thicket, and the wild animals will eat them. I will punish her for the days of the Baals, to which she burned incense. She put on her rings and her jewelry and followed her lovers, but she forgot me. This is the Lord's declaration. Therefore I am going to persuade her, lead her to the wilderness, and speak tenderly to her. There I will give her vineyards back to her and make the valley of Achor into a gateway of hope. There she will respond as she did as in the days of her youth, as in the day she came out of the land of Egypt. In that day, this is the Lord's declaration, you will call me my husband and no longer call me my Baal. For I will remove the names of the Baals from her mouth. They will no longer be remembered by their names. On that day I will make a covenant for them with the wild animals, the birds of the sky, and the creatures that crawl on the ground. I will shatter bow, sword, and weapons of war in the land, and will enable the people to rest securely. I will take you to be my wife forever. I will take you to be my wife in righteousness, justice, love, and compassion. I will take you to be my wife in faithfulness, and you will know the Lord. On that day I will respond. This is the Lord's declaration. I will respond to the sky, and it will respond to the earth. The earth will respond to the grain, the new wine, and the fresh oil, and they will respond to Jezreel. I will sow her in the land for myself, and I will have compassion on Lo Ruhamah. I will say to Lo Ami, you are my people, and he will say, you are my God. Chapter 3. Then the Lord said to me, go again, show love to a woman who is loved by another man and is an adulteress, just as the Lord loves the Israelites, though they turn to other gods and love raisin cakes. So I bought her for 15 shekels of silver and 9 bushels of barley. I said to her, you are to live with me many days. You must not be promiscuous or belong to any man, and I will act the same way towards you. For the Israelites must live many days without king or prince, without sacrifice or sacred pillar, and without ephod or household idols. Afterward, the people of Israel will return and seek the Lord their God and David their king. They will come with awe to the Lord and his goodness in the last days. Chapter 4. Hear the word of the Lord, people of Israel. For the Lord has a case against the inhabitants of the land. There is no truth, no faithful love, and no knowledge of God in the land. Cursing, lying, murder, stealing, and adultery are rampant. One act of bloodshed follows another. For this reason the land mourns, and everyone who lives in it languishes along with the wild animals and the birds of the sky. Even the fish of the sea disappear. But let no one dispute, let no one argue, for my case is against you, priest. You will stumble by day, the prophet will also stumble with you by night, and I will destroy your mother. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I will reject you from serving as my priest. Since you have forgotten the law of your God, I will also forget your sons. The more they multiplied, the more they sinned against me. I will change their honor into disgrace. They feed on the sin of my people. They have an appetite for their iniquity. The same judgment will happen to both people and priests. I will punish them for their ways and repay them for their deeds. They will eat but not be satisfied. They will be promiscuous but not multiply, for they have abandoned their devotion to the Lord. Promiscuity, wine, and new wine take away one's understanding. My people consult their wooden idols, and their divining rods inform them, for a spirit of promiscuity leads them astray. They act promiscuously in disobedience to their God. They sacrifice on the mountain tops, and they burn offerings on the hills, and under oaks, poplars, and terebinths, because their shade is pleasant. And so your daughters act promiscuously, and your daughters-in-law commit adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they act promiscuously, or your daughters-in-law when they commit adultery. For the men themselves go off with prostitutes and make sacrifices with cult prostitutes. People without discernment are doomed. Israel, if you act promiscuously, don't let Judah become guilty. Do not go to Gilgal or make a pilgrimage to Beth Aven, and do not swear an oath as the Lord lives. For Israel is as obstinate as a stubborn cow. Can the Lord now shepherd them like a lamb in an open meadow? Ephraim is attached to idols. Leave him alone. When their drinking is over, they turn to promiscuity. Israel's leaders fervently love disgrace. A wind with its wings will carry them off, and they will be ashamed of their sacrifices. Chapter 5. Hear this, priests, Pay attention, house of Israel. Listen, royal house, for the judgment applies to you, because you have been a snare at Mizpah and a net spread out on Tabor. Rebels are deeply involved in slaughter. I will be punishment for all of them. I know Ephraim, and Israel is not hidden from me. For now, Ephraim, you have acted promiscuously. Israel is defiled. Their actions do not allow them to return to their God. For a spirit of promiscuity is among them, and they do not know the Lord. Israel's arrogance testifies against them. Both Israel and Ephraim stumble because of their iniquity. Even Judah will stumble with them. They go with their flocks and herds to seek the Lord, but do not find him. He has withdrawn from them. They betrayed the Lord. Indeed, they gave birth to illegitimate children. Now the new moon will devour them along with their friends. Blow the ram's horn in Gibeah, the trumpet in Ramah. Raise the war cry in Bethaven. Look behind you, Benjamin. Ephraim will become a desolation. On the day of punishment, I announce what is certain among the tribes of Israel. The princes of Judah are like those who move boundary markers. I will pour out my fury on them like water. Ephraim is oppressed, crushed in judgment. For he is determined to follow what is worthless. So I am like rot to Ephraim, and like decay to the house of Judah. When Ephraim saw his sickness, and Judah his wound, Ephraim went to Assyria, and sent a delegation to the great king. But he cannot cure you or heal your wound. For I am like a lion to Ephraim, and like a young lion to the house of Judah. Yes, I will tear them to pieces, and depart I will carry them off, and no one can rescue them. I will depart and return to my place until they recognize their guilt and seek my face. They will search for me in their distress. Okay. Interesting passage, to say the least, right? But let's get into our questions. Question 1. How does Hosea's marriage illustrate the seriousness of Israel's sin against God? What do these chapters teach us about the balance between God's justice and his mercy? I just read 2 questions. Not here. First question. How does Hosea's marriage illustrate the seriousness of Israel's sin against God? Okay, so I've used this analogy before, but it's our relationship with God is talked about frequently as a marriage, right? So imagine you getting married and your spouse goes off and cheats, right? It's a very difficult thing to go through. Even more so when you've not done that, you've not done anything wrong. Even more so when you are God and you genuinely have never done anything wrong. And everything that you have ever done has been to the benefit of the spouse. That is even in our perspective as flawed humans, if that happens, it's a serious offense, right? How much more so is it a serious offense to God? So it's a powerful message. Question 2. What do these chapters teach us about the balance between God's justice and his mercy? We've talked about this before too. Justice and mercy are not at odds with each other. Justice and mercy are kind of interconnected. We see that. We see the idea of the justice has to be gotten. That's where Jesus went to the cross. And the mercy, it shows up because we don't get what we deserve. So this balance between justice and mercy we see here, especially like once we get to where Gomer is being sold and Hosea goes and he pays for her, right? So she's in the wrong. She's gotten herself into a bad situation, and Hosea is still paying the bill for her doing the wrong, for her getting herself into a bad situation, and he brings her back, despite her being unfaithful to him, and despite him having to go out and it costing him something to get his wife back that was unfaithful to him. So, again, powerful message. Question 3. In what ways do we sometimes run after others' love, or run after other lovers or idols in our own lives, and how does God call us back? This can be a number of different ways. This can be simply just putting something else above God, putting something that is more important than God in your own life, and elevating that, putting your focus on that, and you may not verbally say, I'm putting this above God in my life. Chances are you're probably not verbally saying that. But where your time goes, where your attention goes, where your focus is, that is what you have priority in your life. So if we are putting anything above God, that is running after another lover, running after an idol away from God. So, again, it's a powerful message. The book of Hosea is not a very big book, but there's a lot in it. Very powerful story in the book of Hosea. So, make sure, like, subscribe, all that. Come back tomorrow, and we will continue. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as all those things help the channel grow. If this has been a blessing to you, you can share it with somebody else. It can be a blessing to them, and word of mouth is the best way that podcasts grow as well. So that can be something that helps this channel as well. Come back every single day. We're going to have more content every single day. Bible reading plan. We're going through the Bible an entire year, different teachings, all kinds of just really great biblical sound stuff like that. So you're not going to want to miss it. Come back, subscribe. Thanks. God bless.